this is much You all ready? Perfect. You also ready? Okay. Do you remember the last time you've been to the airport? Probably you have the memory of the security check and boredom. How do we know? We asked 114 people and we've been to the airport. So, this brave team, Adrian from Switzerland, Michelle from Germany, Momoko from Japan, Teresa from Czech Republic, Mitja from Slovenia, and I'm from Germany, Miriam. We had the task to refresh the people after the security check. So we started by asking 114 people via internet, most of them were friends of us, and we figured out the problem we have to solve is actually the boredom. So people are bored. So we started idealization, and in the end we came up with a pretty cool concept.
What about an app, for example, where several information is gathered?
Yeah, the market's already crowded with such things.
Then what about making sauna at the airport?
Did you thought about the space at the airport? You're out.
What about a big interactive wall next to the gates?
Beep, 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 you're much too expensive.
And what about creating a journey through Finland without even leaving the airport?
You may pass. Sorry, do you have time?
Hey, what's up?
Do you want to go with me on a journey?
Sure, I'm flying Norwegian, I got time. Let's do it.
Just scan this QR code
Okay.
and follow the instructions.
Okay. The QR code got me to a website with an audio guide, and it's telling me to go to gate 35 to discover something new.
On the discovery spot, you can see pictures or small videos of the nicest sightseeing spots you can see in Finland without even leaving the airport. Maybe you can touch even a berg. Did you ever touch it? Or smell the fresh air you have in the Norwegian, Finnish, of course, Finnish forest. And the people we asked 111 people via internet again, they really loved this one.
Wow, that's a lot of birch trees.
Next up, we talked about birches. Sit down. Enjoy a little bit of the forest of Finland at the airport. Listen to the sounds of a Finnish forest, so bonfires. That's everyman's right. Read about it, listen to the audio guide, and just relax for a moment. When you're done with it, stand up again. Move to the next stop. Traditions. Finnish sauna. Sitting like this. While you're at the bus stop, shouldn't come closer than this. This is personal space in Finland. We asked 15 different countries and they all were interested about Finnish traditions.
Well, I never knew personal space is that important.
Next one, sport. One crazy thing in Finland. Do you think that throwing your mobile phone is actually a sport? Finnish people do. So read about it, listen to it, and stretch a little bit without getting sweaty. The people we asked in the internet were a little bit critical, but the people we talked to at the airport, they laughed at this idea.
Wow, that's actually pretty nice. That's like the best exercise I got in months.
Memories. Everybody has Instagram nowadays. You want to have a picture with you and the Aurora? You don't have to leave the airport for that one. Just take a picture and we will handle this part. You can send it to your mother if you want.
Wow, can't wait to send this home. My mom's gonna love it.
Last but not least, there's food.
Food? Food. Where's food?
Oh, everybody loves food. So maybe you can taste white berries from Lapland or the chocolate. You love chocolate, don't you? And if you have luck, maybe you get an offer too. People love food. That was also our questionnaire answer. So, did you enjoy it?
This was probably the first time at the airport where I wasn't bored. I got some exercise in, I learned something new, and I tasted some great Finnish food. I want more.
So just enjoy your last 5 minutes before your flight leaves. So what's next? We did already some validation. We went to the airport, we asked the people there, we tested out part of the ideas. We asked a lot of people via internet. I said 111 people, and from different countries, because we are all international, so we had quite many responses, but of course we are not done with validation. So the next stop, we have to do a little bit of validation. We planned this already, there's a validation plan done, and maybe, or pretty sure, from Life in Hell last year, you can go to Journey in Hell. next year. Thank you for your attention. And you're welcome to ask questions. Team, you're welcome to come to me.
Yes,
Please.
the rest of the team, go and stay partners as well, if I can have you here. Both of you. And they're running. Do we have any questions from the audience? Yes. Let's start from there.
Once again, do you have any kind of hunch or basic idea of what could be the price or the cost range of these kind of ideas when they are implemented?
We were discussing this in the group already. It depends on how you will actually implement it. So we thought about cooperation with existing companies that are at the airport. For example, for the taste part, this would be pretty easy. Then we don't want to build up too much at the airport, so the cost for investing in the airport would be not too high. And just the internet part is saying, yeah, computer science always costs a little bit, but we thought about how to earn this money back. So taste could be a part, cooperation could be a part, but the actual price I can't tell. Someone? No.
Yeah, like you said with taste, and I think it can be extended to other stops as well, that if you have a fake sauna, you can put a sauna manufacturer, or if you have something about sport, you can also put some product, and all that of course can reimburse the costs of building these stops at the airport. I hope we answered to your question.
Thank you. Any other questions, Wes? You were raising your hand. Go for it.
Yes, Peter kind of stole my question.
Sorry.
Yes, I can ask another one. Like, what was the thing? You did a lot of interviews and asking around. Like, what was the thing like people liked particularly? Was there like why they loved this idea?
I think I can tell a story of an example. That was a guy from India. And he said he normally flies differently. He has to go to Manchester regular basis. And he said, oh, this time I wanted to see something else. So he went to Helsinki and he had 5 hours. And he said, doesn't matter what you exactly do with this complete structure of finish line or journey in hell or whatever or sport, I would be so happy if I could do anything. That's one of the stories we got back. And when we asked them in particular about our journey in hell, in the end, they loved to have something new, to do something, not just sitting in a cafe and drink something or so. Of course.
And also, I think that people, or especially international people, because of course this is more oriented to international passengers, but they were really keen on learning something about Finland. Because I don't know if you're all aware, but Helsinki airport is really used as a transit airport, so people are not stopping here, or Helsinki is not their final destination, but they're still wondering what is Finland, what is there. So they were a bit. They didn't have a lot of information, so they wanted to also learn about, like all we said here, the nature, the culture, and also that was the goal of Finavia, to make them come back to Finland next time and to have a longer extended trip. So I think this worked pretty well on both sides.
Thank you. Any other questions from the audience side? I have one. I know you tested those stops that you have. So what was the rating? Because you had different ratings with those stops. So what was the most liked, and what was maybe, well, give me the top 3.
The favorite one was Discovery, followed by Taste and Nature. We had then Tradition, and far in the back was Sport and Memories. The reason for this, I believe, is also due on the wording of because in the survey we basically in 2 sentences presented each stop. So it was difficult to make sure that each stop get the same attractivity in a way, that we like, that nature is awesome and yeah, sport. So that's something that I think we could have improved, and that's something we can do better next time. So that's a good point. Maybe those results are a bit biased, because like Miriam said in the presentation, when we asked the people, they were really interested about the sport, but then in the survey, not as much.
Thank you.
I think I can see a corporate member in the team as well on the stage. Could you reflect some of the kind of major learnings from your side during the project?
Yeah, sure. Eva can continue. I'm Eera from Finavia and Eva from Finavia as well in the team.
He's just behind there. Yeah, behind.
The learnings are always very important because we haven't really been doing this sort of surveys or this sort of investigation in a very deep way in the past. So definitely all these learnings, including this one that I just learned now about the preference between the stops, it's important. But in general, just the attitude of people and the fact that we can also quantify it to some extent now, since the actual demonstration was done at the airport where we know the exact passenger volume, so we do actually know how many people eventually ended up shooting the QR codes and so on, to my understanding, independently. So it's all an important learning, but just the fact that we pay attention to the things so that we actually do the footwork, put in the footwork in order to understand that, or the legwork in order to understand what could be there, like these memories, taste, that we think about or think from all the angles around this topic. It's a very difficult topic, this rejuvenation or refreshing feeling at the airport. It's very difficult to basically build into the experience because it's so often about the haste, the boredom as well, the stress, the uncertainty. So just the whole project is a very good learning experience. Something that we could do in the future, continuing from here, is to quantify the commercial potential even to a bigger extent, because it's very important to be able to combine this path of this journey with the advertising opportunities on the way, and also the point of sales opportunities, so that you can actually sell the Corel Empires or whatever. That's a big impact, but also the customer experience by itself is of value. So it doesn't always have to have a commercial aspect to it. It also comes with the fact that people enjoy being there in a better way. And of course, one point was that we want to activate people who as Miriam briefly pointed out, people might be sitting in the cafes, and that's perfectly okay. But this is especially aimed at people who have already gone to their gate areas, basically are doing nothing, not spending, not having a good time. So you can activate those people once again to be on the move, to be of some also commercial benefit to the airport.
Eva, do you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, I think especially who don't want to spend at all money at the airport, and I think I definitely want to this like all case tested in future, like. We just need a time for that, because this is so great idea, and I think it's totally that 100% like customer experience, something new. We can offer something new, and if you don't want to spend, just don't spend, and you get like really something experience from that you remember. Okay, just not like a hell airport and. you remember that, okay, Hell Airport and something from Finland, like Finnish experience at the same time. So definitely, yeah.
One more question from the audience.
Yeah, again, for the team and maybe for the company representatives, like, have you been thinking like implementing some kind of like mini journey in hell or something, like how could you pilot it in the very like small scale to do some actual testing? Maybe that could be the way.
I'm happy you asked that. Okay, it wasn't paid.
I'm happy you asked that because we already did a validation at the airport, was it 1 week ago? And we basically put a poster with talking about Finnish bilberries, and we put a speaker with an audio guide that our dear Mitja here recorded. And it was really interesting to see, even with something that small, that people were already interested. They didn't spend hours on it, but there was this audio guide gathered their intention, and they were looking at the poster. So that was already something small that we did. We also did for the sport. We put up like three pages where there was some people doing those gestures, and we tried to invite the people doing it. We didn't succeed a lot, but that's just example of two stops where we can do something. It took us a few hours to set it up, and it was already on air at the airport. So I think that can be extended for almost every stops.
So when we planned our validation, it was kind of hard because every validation that we did, we were always battling with the question: is this representative to our end solution, right? So this is where the validation plan comes in, where we actually explain on how to test this on a bigger scale with a budget and actually get something tangible back that can be used in the future to develop the service. So, yeah.
Thank you. And Jen,
Yes. How many people did scan the QR code at the airport? Do you guys have data from that?
Yes, we do. Between we put 8 QR codes at the airport. 4 were about the sport part, and 4 were about the taste part. And then when they were scanning it, they were redirected to the gate where we were doing the experiment. So to answer your question, between 1 and 8 clicks during 72 hours.
Okay. And interesting that you could see a difference between those who wanted to get involved and move their bodies and those who just kind of wanted to read some information. So that can tell you something as you move forward also. It would have been really great to know that in your pitch also, that you've gone and you've done that and to see some of that data. So next time. But thank you for your pitch. It was very creative, and I really appreciated the demonstration that you did, both in utilizing the same skit, if you will, to both talk about kind of the ideas that you played with and the way that you surveyed people, and then what your solution was all in one fluid motion. So it was very creative, and at the same time very informative, so that was very effective. I was very pleasantly surprised because when I read about ways to rejuvenate, I wouldn't think of a cultural learning experience. And I'm an international educator, so that was really happy for me. And I think that including food was also really great, because when I was like, oh, I have to get up and walk around, but there's food. So I think that's also a great incentive. It would have been really great to learn a little bit more about what the conversations you had with the people that you spoke to, some numbers. It's always nice to have some, hard data facts. It was very qualitative, but having a little bit more of that quantitative information would be helpful, especially moving forward if you're pitching to investors or to the company or to another airport. Excuse me. And the user value is obviously really clear, and it was really nice in the conversation to hear a little bit more about the value for the airport and for the business. I think also moving forward into scalability, utilizing that, and hearing some more information about what you can do with this moving forward. I know you jumped into, we're going to move into more validation. Some questions I would have are, how can you integrate this into a community experience? How can people who are all at the airport together meet and talk through this? Because that could be a great way to build community. Also the opportunities, we spoke about monetizing a bit for, to franchise and sell this after success to be implemented in other locations. So good work, good pitch, lots of questions, but maybe next time we're at the airport, we'll see some of the fruits of your labor.
Hopefully.
Thank you, Kobe.
Yeah, it was amazing theatrical play right there in the beginning. I was like in some summer theater here, great quality. So definitely it kept me awake. I also needed to pay a lot of attention then for the detail, because of course when there is moving on the stage, sometimes you cannot focus in all the information you delivered. But yeah, overall definitely you caught my attention. But then when we come into this case, I think there are many challenges which you must have faced there. I think there's a lot of competition actually also to solve this problem of boredom, because yes, some people go to cafeteria, some people go to some other place. So actually, yeah, you could think that there is no solution, but yet people are still using their smartphones or something. Actually, this is all generic competition there. So for the future, I think, especially when we come to these validation questions also, when I think about that, you ask questions from people, or you make those, okay, you made this kind of mini validation case, but yeah, you always need to be critical. Are we getting the real information here? Are we getting enough of feedback, and are we actually getting the feedback of the right people here? So maybe one of the proposals could be that you could try to narrow down the focus group a little bit more. At least to me, it comes to mind that maybe family members, people with families, I mean, would be more having a playful mind to go into such a little play things, or just exploring a little bit. I think you would need to identify the mindset of those people, and the ones who are very business oriented or somehow very busy or super stressed, I don't think they probably are. So something to consider of the user persona there. Yeah, about the uniqueness of your solution, I'm not sure exactly what was the end product here. You created many proposals of concepts. I think you kind of made a huge pile of proposals. So and the prototype was, yeah, you made some kind of prototyping there at the place, but we don't have anything tangible here. So then it is a little bit difficult to judge now here what was exactly the end result. But okay, as far as I understood from Finavia representatives here, that okay, the innovation process itself was already one deliverable, and you seem to be happy about it. And it seems to me that you're wanting to collaborate in the future with the same group as well, or have you discussed about it?
We will do that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because yeah, I think that would be definitely something up and coming. Yeah. Okay. Maybe yeah. Would have probably also loved to see one or two ideas, because you already have those preferred ideas. So maybe to kind of develop them, improve them a little bit further, because now it was 7 ideas and it's still quite much to pick up for the further development. Yeah, I think this is pretty much, I wrote so much here. Okay, and okay, maybe one idea also, like the bonus point again, that if you wanted to continue collaboration, yeah, as I said, maybe you choose 1 or 2 of those points, you really go much deeper in there with the user personas, with the concept development, and then probably, especially if you're taking that food part, why not take some also other innovative food entrepreneurs with you, and start experimenting like that you could already have that kind of customer value more in concrete way measured. Yes, I know that maybe you cannot right away charge for it, but it should be always there in mind when you do business development. So that's my part. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jerry, and thank you, team. Oh, go ahead.
Just a brief comment. Yeah, very good feedback. Is this working?
Yes.
I guess it is. Yeah. We knew from the beginning that this was some sort of a curveball, a lot of spin in that ball. So this is actually a really difficult topic. Now that the team happens to be consists of very capable individuals, so we knew that they would have the imagination to take on the task, which was not impossible, but very difficult indeed. So that's why the process itself, that they have been able to come up with this, let's say, this thought process and the idea of the journey, which actually consists of many parts. So it's true they are separate ideas, but still it's actually the whole journey, which comprises the idea and the concept here. So definitely the team has showed its capability here. We didn't expect anything too tangible at this point, because it's something that we have been working on for years and we haven't been able to solve it anyway. Yeah. Have been using many sorts of professional help with that. We haven't been able to solve it. So it was and it still is a difficult topic. But the process has been very good, and all kudos to the team for taking on the challenge. Thank you.
Thank you.